Hey, it's Ruby. Welcome back to my channel, and to today's video we're going to be doing Q2 faves. So these are the best books that I read in the second quarter of the year, the last 3 months. I haven't had the best reading year, but it's getting better. In June alone I had 3 5-stars, which is insane to me. I honestly can't believe that because I'm so picky with my ratings, especially with my 5 stars. So that was very surprising. And all 3 of those 5 stars made it into this video. So I don't own all the books that I'm going to talk about today, but I definitely want to. I definitely want to buy all of these because I love them. So I think we're going to start at number 5 and work our way up. I think that'll be better. At number 5, we have a book that I don't own. It is Magnolia Parks, but my brother Johnny was very kind. He actually ordered these from Blackwell for me, and yeah, I will be getting my hands on them soon. So as soon as I get to Texas, I'll have these in my possession, which I'm super excited about because when I read Magnolia Parks, I put Daisy Hates, which is book 2, on hold on Libby immediately. And the wait has been so long. I still don't have it. It's been a while, and I think the wait was like a couple months long. So I'm very happy that I'm gonna be able to read it before that, and I'm not gonna have to wait. So thanks, Johnny. But Magnolia Parks, what is it about? Essentially, this has been described as Gossip Girl but British, and yes, definitely, for sure, this was such a shit show. It was crazy. The people in here are so toxic, like all of them. The main characters, the side characters, there is nobody here that is good. They all suck, and I loved it. And I think I described it previously as, you know, that train wreck that you can't look away from. Like, you are so happy it's not you, but you're so glad that you're here to witness it. That was the feeling that I got reading this book. I gave it 4 stars, which honestly I feel like I should have given it 4.5, but I gave it 4 stars, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. But I was so entertained. I think, did I listen to the audiobook of this? I think I did, and it was very entertaining. It was very toxic. The main characters, Magnolia and BJ, have known each other forever since they were kids, and they were together since they were kids, or very young, should say, and they were perfect together. Everybody knew that it was Magnolia and BJ till the death, and their parents loved them together, like rich families, you know. They were all about it. And so BJ ends up cheating on Magnolia, which I don't think this is a spoiler because you find out right away. You just don't know like what, how, when, where, you know what I mean? You just know that he did cheat on her, and they broke up because of it, because she was devastated. And yeah, these two have such a weird relationship. Like, they're still in each other's lives, but he's still in love with her and she's still in love with him. But damn, it is very toxic, and they have just like a horrible relationship going on. I'm not rooting for them, but I kind of am. But like, she deserves better, but also she's making questionable decisions herself now. So I don't know. I just feel like the way that Magnolia Parks ended, I was loving it. I was here for the drama. I will say it was very predictable. Like, I knew the end was, to me, very obvious from the start, literally from the start. But I still liked it. I was still like, oh shit, what's gonna happen now? So yeah, I will be continuing on to Daisy Hates, and this is my number 5 pick. At number 4, we have another one that I don't own because I refuse to buy it until it releases in paperback, and that is Funny Story by Emily Henry. This was such a fun time. It really was a fun read. I know that some people were very emotionally impacted by it. I was not. I've said it many times that I'm an emotional cripple, but I just didn't think that there was anything emotional about this book. I just had a good time. I love the characters. I specifically love Miles. over Daphne. And I mentioned this before where I usually will like one character more than the other when I'm reading books, and this was very much the case in here. I definitely liked Miles and I liked Daphne, but usually only when she was with Miles. As a character herself, I didn't find anything to relate to her. She was just there and she was okay. She was a librarian, so I really liked that about her, but she was okay. Miles, though, was really funny. A lot of people were saying that he was very Nick coded, Nick from New Girl, and I do see some of Nick in there, but I feel like nobody can be Nick and Schmidt. Like, I love New Girl, but anyway, this book is about Daphne and Miles, and in the beginning of the book, Daphne is with her partner Peter and Miles is with his partner Petra. And Peter and Petra are best friends. They grew up together, they've known each other from childhood, and they've always been best friends, but nothing else. In the beginning of the book, we find out that Daphne and Peter are getting married, and Peter goes off to his bachelor party to have a fun time before the wedding. He comes back and he breaks up with Daphne, ends it. And this is not a spoiler. Like, if you just read the synopsis, you'll know. So he ends up breaking up with her because he realizes that he's in love with Petra. He's been in love with her all along and he cannot deny it. He cannot marry Daphne, so he leaves her and gives her a couple days to move out. Doorbell rings, and who's there? Miles, who happens to be Petra's ex. He has received a letter stating all of this, and so he's like, is she here? She says no, and she asks if he has an extra room. So she moves in with him, and our story begins from there. This is all in the beginning, and honestly, it's really good. I really, really liked it. I really liked Miles, and I really liked how they kind of rubbed off on each other and they helped each other through this. There is some fake dating in there, but I wouldn't even call it fake dating. It's like very low-key fake dating, but it was good. It was good. I really liked it. I didn't love it, but I did really like it, and I ended up giving it 4.25 stars. Definitely worth the read. If you haven't read it, you totally should, because it is pretty good. It was really fun. Speaking of Emily Henry, she's the only one that made it in here twice. I mean, it's because of that reading vlog, but I read Book Lovers, and I love this. I gave it 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I felt like I was entertained from beginning to end. I loved the story. I loved the characters. I loved the romance. I loved everything about this book. I was never bored. I was always entertained. I love our main characters, Nora and Charlie. Nora is a literary agent and Charlie is an editor, and they're both living in New York City, thriving in their respective careers. But in the beginning of the book, they meet because they're trying to negotiate a deal, right? Right off the bat, these two do not like each other. All professionalism goes out the window, and they just decide that they're never going to work with each other because they don't like each other. That's the prologue. Flash forward to chapter 1. It says 2 years later, and they meet again. This time they're in a little small town in the middle of nowhere, and they keep running into each other, much to their dismay. And they're forced to kind of talk to each other because they keep running into each other in this little tiny town. But it's so good. This is a case where what I talked about previously about me liking one character more than the other, this was special to me because I loved both characters and I loved them both individually and together, which is rare for me. Usually I have a favorite or I love them, but when they're together. And in this one, I loved them apart and together. I felt like they were so witty, so smart, so clever, definitely my type of people. I really, really love this all around. I don't want to tell you more because I don't want to spoil anything. It was just good. It was just a fun time. I don't think it was like super special or anything to me, but definitely worthy of a 5-star because like I said, there was just nothing that I was like, I hated that. So yeah, Book Lovers is our number 3. At number 2, we have a book that I don't own, but man, am I dying to own this. I'm on a book buying ban, so I cannot buy them, but I wish that I had them. I wish I had it here to show you, but it is Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. I read Binding 13 because of Summer. Thank you so much, Summer, if you're watching. She gifted me Binding 13. And honestly, if she had not gifted it to me, it was on my wish list, but it wasn't a priority to me. Like, I wanted to read it because I had heard so much hype. So many people love this series, but it wasn't a super priority for me. And she ended up sending it to me, and I felt very conflicted about it because I did like it, but I just didn't think there was anything too special about it. I did not fall in love with Johnny and Shannon, our main characters, like everybody else did. I felt like it was good, but it was just, there was nothing unique about it. I couldn't understand why people loved this series. And so I gave it 3 stars, and I said, you know, I still want to know what's going to happen. Like, I still want to know how their story ends. So I knew I was going to go on to book 2. I picked up book 2 on audio, which honestly, the audio is amazing because they have Irish accents. And without the audio, I probably would have pronounced so many things wrong, especially the names. Keeping 13 is the conclusion to Johnny and Shannon's story, and I love this. I felt like it was giving me everything that I wanted Binding 13 to give me. There was just like, this just had a bunch of stuff happening, a lot more stuff picked up. Book 1 was very much introductory, and book 2 was like where everything went down, and I loved it. I loved everything. I loved Johnny and Shannon. I fell in love with their love. I could see it. Although Shannon kind of annoyed me a lot of the times, but it's because I don't connect with people emotionally. Like, I just don't. So empathy is hard for me with fictional characters, and so I could see it, I could understand it, but I couldn't fully feel it. I did feel it though. If there was ever a time where I'm gonna like say that I got close to emotional, this was one of them. I was like never in danger of any tears or anything like that, but I felt, you know, so that's just special to me because I rarely do. So yeah, that was interesting. But I loved everyone. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I liked how it went, like the direction that they took, how things unfolded. I love Johnny's mom. She was one of my favorite characters. The woman was so freaking sweet. She just wanted to take care of everyone. She was just a genuinely good person, and that to me was amazing because you don't meet a lot of those. And so yeah, all around an amazing time. 5 stars. 5 stars for the audio. Also, I really liked it. It does have dual narrators, which was really cool. A good time. I cannot wait to go on to Joey's story because I am very intrigued. I know that it kind of overlaps with Johnny and Shannon's story a little bit, or a lot of it, I'm not sure, but I'm just very, like, I want to read more about Aoife because I feel like we just got a sprinkle of her in books 1 and 2, and I want to know how that all unfolds. So yeah, as soon as I can buy them, I hope to, and I definitely recommend, I guess, the series, but at the very least books 1 and 2 because I really like them. So yeah, Keeping 13, 5 stars. And our number 1 for the second quarter, and it's interesting. I like doing these because I know that at the end of the year my top 10 is probably going to be completely different, but at least we're rounding some of my reads, right? Like, at least I can look back on these videos and choose my top 10 from there. It'll just be easier because I am reading quite a bit of books. So yeah, anyway, my number 1 was very unexpected. I did not plan to read this book, but because of my new book series, The Bookshelf Ultimatum, this was one of the books that I chose. This was the fantasy prompt, I believe. It is a sci-fi book. Actually, it is a YA sci-fi. And damn, I really like this. This is my number 1 for the second quarter because I really enjoyed it. I felt like I liked everything about this, honestly. It was just cool, and it was YA, so it was just very unexpected. I didn't think that I would love it, and I did. So Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. There are currently 4 books out, and a novella bind up, I believe. I don't know if there's going to be more books. There might be another one coming, I'm not sure. But for now, there are 4 books plus the novella binding. And this is about Spencer. She is the daughter of a pilot who at the beginning of the book dies. And not only does he die, but he is branded a coward because it is alleged that he abandoned his team, and fled the scene, fled the war, fled the battle that they were doing. And in the beginning, we don't know why he fled or what happened, what were the circumstances, but what we do know is that he is branded a coward, and Spencer is branded a coward by association. So because of this, her family has struggled a lot because her mom, it affects everyone, not just the dad who died. It affects everyone. The mom isn't able to take any jobs. Like, it's just a hard life that they're leading because of this. And Spencer grows up super angry because she idolized her dad. She wanted to be a pilot since she was a little girl, and she was 9 when he died, I think. But she idolized him. She just knows in her heart of hearts that there's no freaking way that her dad would have run away. There's no way that her dad would have not done his duty and turned his back on his people. So she just knows that they're lying. She just knows it. She knows that there's something that they're not telling the truth about. And she grows up angry. Not only that, but she still wants to become a pilot because she wants to redeem herself and then redeem her dad's name. But because of what happened, she just has a really hard time getting into the flight school. She gets in on a technicality, but once she's in there, she is definitely not treated like everybody else. This, I can see, is not going to be for everyone. Definitely not going to be for everyone because this is told in parts, in 5 parts. And parts 1 through 4 are kind of slow. Like, nothing really is happening. She's just in the flight school. We do have this whole book taking place in the flight school. And so if that's not going to be your thing, then you're not going to like this. But one of my favorite movies, well, 2 of my favorite movies of all time are Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. I freaking love those movies. I'm a big action girl and I love those movies. And that reminded me of this, or this reminded me of that. Because if you know Top Gun, you know that they're in Top Gun, the flight school, and they're doing the, you know, the trainings and the simulations and all that, and that's happening in here too. So I really love that, probably because I love Top Gun. But also part 5, damn, part 5 was so good. At the end of this book, I had so much freaking adrenaline. I was so pumped. I was literally like trying to read faster than what I was physically able to. I was just so into it. So good. I know that it's not going to be for everyone, but damn, it was for me. 5 stars. I will definitely continue on to book 2 because this was so good. But like I said, I don't want you to read it and be like, damn, this sucked. Ruby's such a liar. It's not for everyone, but it was for me. So those are my top 5. I am so happy that it was better than the first quarter. Definitely. I feel like, man, I had 3 5 stars in this list. So it's definitely getting better. And I hope that in the 3rd quarter it gets better and then we end off the year super strong. But we'll see. There are some books that I'm going to be reading, like The Will of the Many, The Sword of Kaigen, which have huge potential to become like yearly favorites. But I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see. I hope that I make it to those, especially like The Will of the Many, because I was super intimidated about Skyward because it was long and I didn't think I was gonna like it. The Will of the Many is also long, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it, and I hope that I love everything. I would love to know what your favorite books of the year have been so far so that I can add them to my TBR, and hopefully we can make these lists even better as the year goes on. So let me know what have been some of your favorite reads of the year, or not even just of the year, like ever, so that I can check them out, because I'm always looking for new books, especially new audiobooks. I love audiobooks. And for the people that say that listening to an audiobook's not reading, like, what's wrong with you? Yes, it is. Anyway, thanks so much for spending time with me. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye.